You need to stop seeking validation. You need to stop trying to stroke your ego. You need to stop trying to be the man or the woman if you're watching this. Because at the end of the day, that's what's holding you back from trading. That's what's holding you back from success in yourself, in your life, around your family, in every single thing. Because you're not actually truly being yourself, because you're looking for outside validation. Now, the power of working in silence is what you've heard many, many times across all social media platforms, across all business founders, successful people, about working in silence. And I believe it's probably the most powerful thing when it comes to trying to build something. I know that because that's what I've had to do. I've had to what I'm still having to do right now, years later, at times, by building in silence and working in silence. And I want to do today's video because I had a call last week, and I get a lot of inspiration from the calls that I have from people that book calls with me to see what journey they're on. And the same problems keep coming up all the time when it comes to trading. So that's why I think that these videos get a lot of attention, because they're what needs answering. They're what traders out there, yourselves, are relating to, because I'm taking this inspiration from you and putting my spin on it of what's really, really helped me. So I've got my phone here for some notes. There's no editing or anything like that. I just want to get down to the raw stuff. As you know, you like that stuff, to get going. So the power of working in silence when it comes to trading, I think, is probably one of the most important things. But I think it's more relevant to trading than probably anything else, because you are a lone wolf when it comes to trading at the beginning. There's no doubt about that. You're going to have to be a lone wolf along the way. A lot of people struggle with that, especially if you're a person who needs your ego stroking or validation. That's through social media. So while you're chasing this validation along the way in trading, whether that's social media, whether that's whatever I've mentioned before, etc., and things like that, what you're actually doing is you're just creating a big problem and self-sabotaging your progress. Whether that's through that false dopamine hit that I've spoke about before, and whether that's through, obviously, you having to be a certain type of person for the world to see, excuse me on that one, just to make yourself feel better, you're not going to get the work done. Now, what I want to do in this video is I want to show you why working in silence. I'm just giving 3 or 4 points I can't remember on my list. That's going to allow you to obviously change the way you're thinking when it comes to trading, right? So I'm going to get straight into it. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Not going to ramble on. Number one, key message here, number one, is the noise of external validation. So what do I mean by that, right? One of the hardest things of trading is obviously creating a skill. Right? It's creating a skill, and that skill is unique to you. And that's what a lot of people do not understand. So you can go across social media and YouTube, you can look at all these videos, million subscribers, and they're showing you the same strategies time and time again with just a different piece of wrapping paper on it. That is only going to give you a foundation. The videos that you need to be watching are the ones that maybe don't have a lot of views and maybe don't have a lot of subscribers, because they're the ones that are going to give you the value that you need. Because the ones with all the strategies and things like that, they're not going to help. They're just not going to help. And for me, that's outside noise. That's external noise. Whether you're watching what other traders are doing, whether you're debating whether they make money or not, whether you're watching channels that try and expose scammers, whether you're trying to find out what people earn, that is all external noise. That's just making you want to feel better because you're actually not very good at trading and you're probably not profitable at the moment. So you want to find an excuse externally that, oh, well, it's just a scam. Oh, other traders just sell courses. Oh, so all you're doing is adding to your negativity along the way. External noise to validate how bad you are of a trader is not going to help you. And that sounds strange. You're probably thinking, why would anybody do that? Well, that's what you're actually doing now. If you're seeking negativity, if you're seeking reasons and validations that trading is a scam or trading is not working, that's going to work against you. Absolutely. Just, I can't stress how much that's going to work against you. The flip side of that is when you're seeking validation from outside noise and you want everybody to think you're the man. And this goes down to someone that I spoke to the other day. All right. Now, when you're seeking the outside validation, you're looking for, it reminds me of the Mario. You know, when Mario, you're struggling, you're playing Mario, and then you find a mushroom, and then you grow, and then you keep going, then you need another mushroom, or you need something before the timer runs out. That's how I look at people that are seeking validation. And I used to be that guy. I used to be that way, especially during my sports career and especially during trading. I wanted everybody to know what I was doing. And I see as time runs out, and then you've got to try and get another validation. And you might be seeking for that like. You might be seeking for, look at my trade and look at my payout. Don't do that. Key message to stay away from that. You need to stop focusing on those things, and you need to focus on one thing, and that is your growth. That is your growth. Right. Key message number 2 of the power of working in silence is this. When you work in silence, it's not just about getting rid of the noise, or there's no noise going on. People think you have to go into this crazy and you have to go with the Shaolin monks up the Buddhist temple in the middle of a mountain and really, really change the way that you are. You don't need to do that. What it means is you need to create a space. I always speak about creating a space, because this space is going to allow you to work on systems. And if you've not watched the last video, go and check that video out. It is a game changer for the way that you think. But it's about creating a deep, deep thought environment. This is going to allow you to really stay centered, because I know that you've gone on tilt just by one thing that's gone wrong. You may have clicked on the wrong video. Your partner may have said something. The kids may do something. You may have clicked on an Instagram post. You've come back, seen the charts, jumped in along, and all day you was waiting for a short. I've been there. I still see people do that. And it's because the environment is not correct. It's just noise if your environment is not in the correct way. Another point here is one of the most successful traders, right, that are out there that I've come across, right? They don't share every move. They don't share everything that they do to seek affirmations. They just do. And then every so often they'll let you know if they've got a business. Well, I've done this, I've done that, and this has worked. But that's not for outside validation. That's because they're building a business and they're building trust with their customer, their client, the people that they're working with. If you are doing those types of things, do it for building your business, not for some ex-girlfriend or some guy who you want a better car than. This just doesn't make sense, because realistically, you proving to those people they don't really align with your vision anyway. If you're having to prove to someone that you're doing something and you're reacting from their noise, they don't align with what you're trying to do anyway. So again, when you work in silence, you must understand that you're protecting your energy and you're honing in on your strategy without distractions. You are protecting your energy. If you followed me, I speak about energy all the time. And you are honing in on what you need to do. I'm all about living in peace. I've told you, profits, peace, and purpose. Profits, peace, and purpose. Those 3 P's for me are the things that are going to and do align and make me move forward within everything that I'm trying to do. So again, just focus on your process, focus on your mistakes, focus on your victories, and focus on your personal development. But you don't have to share it, and you don't have to seek validation from outside noise. Key message number 3 is transforming negativity into focused growth. Now, this is something that people struggle with. I get comments all the time. Most of them, 99% of them are good. But every so often you can get a negative comment. And it does tend to wind you up a little bit. Now, I'm used to it. I've had racist comments in front of 40,000 people playing. I don't care about things like that no more. But every so often, sometimes, depending on your mood, you'll get a little bit of a comment that may bother you. So when you get these comments, you must understand that that's because you're out there trying to seek affirmation and validation. If you're not out there and you're building in silence, you're going to get very, very few comments. Very, very few comments, right? And if you do get these comments, you can fall prey to your self-doubt, your fear of missing out, your fear of another trader's doing this, or they've doubted the way that I trade. They doubted me. They're not backing me on this vision. They're not backing me. They're not supporting me on my dream of being a trader. All right. So if you don't put yourself out there, you can't have these comments. It's very, very important. I do tell quite a lot of people that I work with, try and keep trading to yourself for a short period of time or whenever you feel comfortable, because this negativity, if you've not got a very, very tough skin, you're going to fall victim to this. and you're going to start to believe what people say about you. And that's really, really damaging to your success, okay? But negativity can be a very, very powerful tool. And I always talk about my experience as an athlete because that's my life. So if you don't like that stuff, then I apologize. But, well, I don't apologize. This is my channel, but this will really, really help you. So no, I don't apologize because this is really, really important. You are told as a child you're never going to be whatever you want to be by many, many people because they think that they are protecting you, family. And there's also a lot of hatred that don't want you to succeed because they know that they don't have the minerals to succeed. Fair enough. I used that as a child as a motivation, and I had no doubt in my mind that I was going to be a professional footballer. No doubt. Even when I got released from football clubs, even when people said my attitude was terrible, even when people said he's never going to make it, all I did was use that negativity to run the extra mile. To run the extra mile. And there was better players than me that never made it. Never made it. Never made it. Okay, so use that negativity and flip it into motivation, but don't go to absorb that. Don't go and try and look for negativity to be your rocket fuel. If it comes, use it. Keep this in mind when people have doubted you, when friends have doubted you. Keep that in mind. It's very, very important. But your path and your unique growth is going to come from focusing on your mindset rather than engaging with other people's doubts, judgments, and negativity. Your growth is going to come from your mindset rather than other people's mindsets. Their judgmental ways, their growth, their lack of their fixed mindset, outlook, all these types of things, okay? Very, very important. And key four, I've gone well over. Key point 4 is mastering yourself, not the market. This is something that I preach all the time in all my videos. Mastering yourself rather than the market. When we first start trading, we think we need all this information about the market, about the news, about Trump tweeting, about oil, about war, about this pandemic, about this. We don't really need to know that. We only need to know when important dates and news days in case we're in trades. But mastering the markets, you're never going to master the markets. The act of randomness is always going to come into it. What you need to master is yourself. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, as a trader, you need to be stoic. You need to be controlled in all areas of your life. You need to be a growth to mindset individual. You need to be entrepreneurial. You need to have very, very good discipline in your outside world. That's what I mean by mastering yourself. Okay? You know, I know crazy books. I'm reading that at the moment. Mastering yourself. There's loads of books. I'm not going to go over the books. You know I'm book mad, right? This is a very, very important way to do this by mastering yourself. And then you can stay in control of the systems that you've got to trade, as I speak about in the last video, right? Your reactions, your emotions, your discipline. The market will always be unpredictable. I've said this numerous times, but how you respond is within your control. How you respond is within your control. If you're stoic and you're new to stoicism, or you've been stoic, you know the philosophy is based on controlling the mind around the things you cannot control. Not letting outside things or daily things affect that the way that you are. So listen, in this process, you're going to encounter frustrations. Your strategy is not going to work one week. It's going to work the next week. You're going to encounter life problems, family problems, doubters, no time, a little bit of burnout. You're going to encounter a lot of things along the way in this trading journey. But by working in silence, you are going to eliminate 99.9% of the outside self-sabotaging, negative obstacles that potentially are going to bring you down. And I want to end a point because I got this I got this video idea from someone that I spoke to this week. And I'm not really mentioning them, and I won't mention them as an individual. But what I will say with this, the individual had thought he'd made it. And the minute you think you have made it is the beginning of failure until you recollaborate. And I told you this, and you probably not heard me say that if you're new to the channel, but that's what my football coach said to me one time. I'll never, ever forget it. I was getting ahead of myself, and he said to me, the minute you think you have made it, it is the beginning of failure until you recognize that and you recollaborate with your self. Yeah, you know what I mean. Recenter with yourself. So all I want to say is this: work in silence. Don't think you need validation from the world, because you don't, because those people don't align with your vision anyway. Get to work. And if you need any help with any of that stuff, you know exactly where I am. I'll see you soon.